So I ran a 10K this past weekend, yesterday for President Craig filming this. It was a trail run that basically consisted of 2 hills that we had to run up and down a couple times to complete a full 10K. It was hard, but I did it. And now I'm in a lot of pain. Hello to the internet, my name's Craig Montgomery and we're here today to talk about the things that make you say, who even am I? And today we're going to talk about pain. I actually struggled with a chronic pain issue for basically the entirety of 18 years old to 26, 27, so up to just a couple years ago, almost a full decade of my life. So I've spent quite a bit of time thinking about coping with pain and the way that dealing with pain and managing it affects us, or affected me, and the way that I approached my life and how I had to do things a little bit differently because I wasn't functioning at 100%. Fun fact, physical manifestations of unresolved emotional problems are a real thing. When I'm stressed or having little icky things going on inside my body, I carry a lot of tension in my shoulders and my neck, and that led to daily headaches and migraines frequently for me in that period of time where I was dealing with just prolonged chronic pain. I went to all the doctors, ran all of the tests, and I switched up my schedule in any way I could think of, and I eventually just minimized my life to such a small, controlled environment in an attempt to limit what stimulus was really coming into my body to try and stop the pain from happening, because I couldn't figure out what was going on. The main issue was that everything did feel overstimulating, so I had a real physical painful reaction to most of the things that I had to do in my life, not to mention things that should have been enjoyable. They came with an immediate and painful consequence, so I had to weigh every choice that I was making. Is it worth dealing with the headache and all of the emotional drainage that's going to come from dealing with the pain of doing the thing? I'm extremely lucky in that most of my physical symptoms started to subside when I entered therapy a couple of years ago, and I started working through some blocked emotions. I really noticed a very big difference in my daily experience of headaches and my pain management in general, and over time it's gotten so much better, and I'm just incredibly grateful for that, because for a lot of people who suffer from chronic pain, that is not the case. It's not something that they have a fix for. It's just a lifelong issue, and that's extremely unfortunate. And I think that we as human beings, how we choose to cope with the chronic pain or pain in general and manage that is a completely personal journey. I don't really want to speak to that. What I am wanting to speak to is for peers, as you know, people who are on the outside of this experience, how we can look inward and try to have empathy and understand what's going on. Because it's far too easy to underplay how all-encompassing dealing and managing with chronic pain can be. And while I was in the experience, I frequently felt like I had to defend the experience to those who were around me when I was trying to open up with them about the pain that I was dealing with and how it was affecting me. I kind of felt that because they couldn't see a wound to match with the pain, that they didn't really know how to believe me that the experience was real. Like, I imagine if I had a giant gash on my head, you know, and I could point to that and say like, oh, I have a head wound, that's why my head hurts so badly, it would be much more easy for that person to understand that I would be limited physically in what I was able to do, and that I would be maybe not so interested in engaging with this activity, like going out and doing something, because I obviously am dealing with some pain. But because there was no physical wound to point to, even though my internal experience was extremely similar, it was very difficult to communicate and have the other person empathize and understand that that was my experience and that's what I was going through. And what's more problematic is that the pain is chronic. It's an experience that happens over a long period of time. So having that experience prolonged it makes it even more difficult for people to understand that, like, you're still hurting, you know, you still have this pain. Like, I don't get it, I don't deal with that. And I think that that's so easy to engage with when you're on the other side, because I would say it seems like the majority of people don't suffer from chronic pain. And I can only speak for my own experience, but that difference in viewpoint and trying to connect with someone who isn't or hasn't had that experience created a lot of shame in me about my pain, and it made it very difficult. It was like another layer of difficulty in trying to cope with and deal with the stress, and, you know, especially because my pain was kind of emotionally rooted, it was an added layer of difficulty to feel ashamed of the fact that I had pain, and it made me feel limited and like I couldn't fully engage in my life. And then on top of that, that other people that I was trying to say, like, hey, I'm hurting, this is like not so great for me, maybe like let's do this, or like I'll just have to bow out, that kind of thing, for them to not really understand, and to, I wouldn't say that I ever came across someone who like didn't believe me, but just the fact that there wasn't a lot of compassion, I guess is the word I want to use. There wasn't a lot of compassion coming towards me when I voiced that I was in pain. It was more confusion, and it was a little bit of like, a little bit of eye roll, just a tiny bit of, oh, that again. Which, I mean, is fine, it's your prerogative if that's how you want to respond to it, but I just think it's so much kinder for us to open up a space for people who are suffering and to try and give voice to that for them, or let them give voice to it. Another thing that I would note on is that it was very difficult to navigate how to ask for help and how to receive help when I was dealing with situations where I couldn't really fully function the way that I feel like I should as a person, because I was dealing with a chronic pain. Not really knowing how to voice it, and not really knowing how to connect with another human being and help them understand what I was going through made it really difficult to negotiate receiving help. Yeah, so basically, while I am presently revisiting a unfortunately familiar place of pretty consistent pain in my body and pretty raging headache, I wanted to speak out and advocate for compassion to those of us amongst our peers who do deal with chronic pain and have the unfortunate experience of not having a body that wants to do, you know, the stuff correctly. And I would just advise to, like, maybe ask them how they're doing and give them an open, non-judgmental space for them to voice their pain, and not really be seeking to fix the situation, because obviously as human beings we're usually problem solvers, and with someone who has been dealing with pain for a long time, they've likely been looking into how they can try and alleviate that. So that's not really the point of it. The point is just to give them a place to share and to connect across to someone else with the experience that they're having, and help normalize it for them, and hopefully that can kind of give them a sense of compassion and feel like someone is looking and caring a little bit about that pain that they're having. I just felt like that was, you know, worth saying, maybe. So hopefully that helps someone out there. Have you dealt with chronic pain in any context? If you have, I'd be interested to hear your story, and you are welcome to leave a comment down below and we can chit chat about that. Also, I'm very sorry for your experience, because dealing with chronic pain is the worst and I hate it. So I empathize with you, other person who possibly deals with chronic pain. Alright guys, if you liked the video, give it a like. If you like what I've been doing, please subscribe. I release new videos every Tuesday, and they come to you that way, which is fun. And yeah, so that's all I got for you this week. Bye!